We've got three questions. Let's deal with the first one. We're given f of x, and we have to translate that thing into a quotient of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. So let's start with f of x, and that equals 3x plus 1. Now we need an f of x plus h, and that equals 3 times x plus h plus 1. Well, let's expand that, and we get 3x plus 3h plus 1. Now we're ready to construct the quotient f of x plus h minus f of x all over h. And that equals, in place of f of x plus h, we'll install 3x plus 3h plus 1 minus f of x. Well, in place of f of x, and use parentheses, we'll write 3x plus 1 all over h. Now that equals, there's our h, 3x plus 3h plus 1, distributing that negative 3x minus 1. And notice, the 1's add out, as do the 3x's. So now we're left with 3h over h. The h's divide out, and we get 3. And we're done with that one. Well, let's do problem 2. So for 2, we have to expand this. We've got 5x times x squared over 15 minus 5 over x. And we've got to write this as two terms that are simplified. In other words, we're going to reduce. So now this equals 5x, distributing this 5x times x squared over 15 minus 5x times 5 over x. And now we will simplify or reduce these fractions. And so 5 goes into 15 3 times, and in this case the x's divide out, and we have x times x squared is x cubed, and we still have 3 downstairs, so there it is, and minus, and 5 times 5, and that's 25. 25 over 1, but the 1's understood, and we're done with this one. Well, for the third question, we have to graph the piecewise function h of x equals, and it's defined by the expression x minus 1 when x is less than 2, or x plus 2 when x is greater than or equal to 2. So let's graph the first part, and the y-intercept is at negative 1. So here we are at 0, negative 1, and at 2, let's see, if it has a slope of 1, so if we go over 1, we go up 1. If we go over 2, we go up 2. But we're not defined for x equals 2, so we'll just put an open circle here. This point is 2, 1. And this portion of the graph looks like that. Now, for the second portion, x plus 2, we've got a y-intercept of 2, and but 0 is not in the domain of this. So when we let x equals 2, which is the leftmost x-coordinate for which this is defined, x 2 plus 2 is 4, so we'll start at 2, 4, and the slope is 1. So there we have it. Now, the next question is, we'll state the domain. Well, these two inequalities define the domain, and if if x can be any number less than 2, or x can be greater than or equal to 2, then the domain equals x element of the reals. In other words, the domain is all real numbers. So that takes care of A. Now let's do B. For B, we have to graph. We've done that. We have to label the intercepts. Well, there's one intercept. This intercept right here, let's see, if we went over 1, we went up 1. So that intercept is 1, 0. And we're done.